Welcome back to the Fourth Man Podcast. You're here with Shug.
And Michael?
Today, we're going to be talking about some important topics that,
Pertain
some
to-
might have a negative view on it, some might not, some might be a little controversy. But we're going to be talking about social media, the gym, about comparison. Three things that we're kind of passionate about, I guess it is.
Yeah. That we come to contact with every day.
Yeah. We see it in our walks and
Yeah.
just daily lives of who or the way we interact. So I guess we'll start with social media. Is in and of itself, is social media bad?
I think yes, it is bad. I reframed my answer from the first time. Just because of what is the real purpose of it. And we'll get into that later. But why do we use it? Do we do it for the glory of ourselves, to uplift ourselves and to feel good about ourselves, or can we use that in a different way as a platform to spread the gospel?
So I would disagree with you.
You would.
I would.
Okay, go ahead.
First disagreement, man. Let's see how this
Let's go.
bows out. I would think social media, in and of itself, at its bottom level, is not bad.
Bottom level, I
Bottom
agree.
level is not bad. I think just like everything, things can be used for good, things can be used for evil, but it doesn't make that's in and of itself evil. It doesn't have a good or a bad purpose. I guess it is.
Yeah.
It's like this lamp. I don't know if they can see it, but it's just an inanimate object. We can use it for light. I can also hit somebody with it and use it for bad.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it depends how you use it, as if social media is bad. And it's pretty much like, what is the purpose of social media? Like, bottom line, kind of what it is used for today, and things like that.
I would say for the majority of social media as a whole, not saying that everybody does it, but I would say for the most part, it's to, like I said in the beginning, like to uplift yourself, to shine light into your world, I guess you can say. And it's like everybody's highlight reel is why I always don't try and even compare myself to anything that anybody else has going on, just because that is if you go on a trip, like I went on a cruise and I posted a bunch of pictures of a cruise, but it's like, all right, that was a once in a lifetime thing that I'll probably do, but it looks like I'm doing that every weekend, or I'm doing this and I got this nice car or this nice whatever, fill in the blank. So I think that people can get hooked up on that. But as far as purpose, it could be used in the other way, totally opposite. Like I find a lot of my like a lot of good quotes on there, a lot of good scripture on there, just in like a little picture, and it has a scripture, and it's like, oh, that was a little nice piece of encouragement or something like that. Just depends on how you use it.
I think the bottom line of what social media is about is really just to share, and then it comes to our greed. Like you were saying, everybody posts their highlight reels. Ain't nobody posting when they're down in the dumps and trying to put that out there.
Yeah.
It's, hey, this is me living my best life.
Look how good I have
just
it.
for my followers.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like, and if you look at a lot of people's social media, it's nothing of what their life is. And I think, there's good things about social media and there's bad things about social media. You mentioned some good ones already about, finding scripture, quotes, things like that. I follow a lot of Christian people on there. So, like, I look at the reels, and there's some sermon clips or some podcast clips that are thought-provoking, and it makes you think, and it's like, oh, that's a good thought.
Yeah.
Like, kind of let me research it. Bad things about it is, like, you don't know who that person is when you're looking at the screen.
Yeah.
Because I could know you for 15 years, and you're completely different on social media. Like, you're portraying something that you're not. I think that's a dangerous game to play.
Yeah.
Is when you're trying to portray a certain lifestyle when you're not really about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I mean, we see that today as, you know, the title influencer grows. You know, you see them start out as like humble people, and then fame and money and greed and acknowledgement and followers and blue check marks, like that all changes people.
Yeah.
And it's like, how can you stay accountable to what you truly believe? Like for us as Christians, like if we're to post on social media, and I'm not saying being an influencer is bad by any means,
Yeah.
you know, but how do you stay accountable, or how do you stay humble to say, hey, I don't I care about my followers, but they're not going to rule me. I'm not going to change who I am just to get likes or views or anything like that. So what would be some things of how you would stay accountable through just looking at social media?
Yeah.
And potentially posting on social media.
Just kind of back to intention. Like, what is your intention in posting this picture? Is this going to create a stumbling block for somebody, or is it going to potentially boost somebody up? How is it going to affect somebody else's day or life or what it may be? And then also I just looked it up a minute ago, like how many people and how much time we spend on it a day, and it said Gen Z people spend about 4 hours a day just on social media itself. So that's terrible. Like, it's terrifying to think that for those 4 hours, not saying everybody does it, but for those 4 hours, like, it's just filled with no thought-provoking things for the most part. It's just scroll, scroll, scroll. That was funny, and that's it, which is not bad, but for 4 hours, like, come on.
Yeah, that's like, there's this thing that'll humble you real quick on iPhones, and it's the screen timer. Like, man, there was a time in my life where, like, my screen time was like 10 hours a day.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I'm like,
that is wild.
Dude, and I look at it, and it's like TikTok is 2 hours, YouTube is an hour, Facebook is a couple hours, Instagram is an hour. I'm like, dude.
And not saying all of that's bad either.
It's not bad, but it's like, what have I gained from it? Like, what have I learned?
Yeah. Like, sometimes I'll watch a sermon on YouTube, and it may be an hour and a half long or an hour, and then watch another video on another biblical point of view. And it's like, okay, that was 2 hours, but I look at my screen time, I'm like, golly, that was a lot. But it really wasn't bad because it's benefiting me.
Mine was like 4 hours of just TikTok scrolls of
just bored,
funny things happening, and it's like I've gained maybe a little bit of enjoyment out of it.
Yeah,
but it's like, okay,
temporary satisfaction.
Maybe I've learned how not to fall on black ice or like those fallen videos. But like at the end of the day, it's like, man, I've spent 6 hours or 4 hours on the internet, but I haven't spent 30 minutes in the Word.
That's facts.
And like, I'm not trying to bum people out or people that you got to read your Bible at least an hour or two a day.
But be real. But
it's like, what you let into your life dictates how your life is going to go.
Yeah.
If you're letting the social media flood your life, then you're going to try to be that fame. Your pride's going to get in the way and be like, hey, I can do this better, or I can do that, or why is this not happening for me? But it's like, if we stay in the Word, then, man, we can start to decipher, hey, this isn't healthy for me to look at. This isn't healthy for body image or my self-esteem or just life in general. Yeah. And you can start to dictate and be like, okay, let me sign off for a little bit.
Yeah, let me take time. And it is crazy to just take, even if you did take 30 minutes out of that 4 hours a day, like, you will be blessed, like, beyond your imagination on just spending 30 minutes in the Word every day. Like, that would be literally change your life all the way around in just 30 minutes.
Yeah, I went through a season where, like, I was still serving at church, but I wasn't in the Word. and I'm like constantly asking, like, God, why aren't you using me? Like, God, like, why am I just chilling? Like, I'm not really doing anything. I don't feel a purpose in my life. And it's like, okay, if I want God to use me, like, I first have to get to know God. Like, you have to want to have a relationship of saying, hey, I want to get to know you so you can use me how you see fit.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not in the Word, you're not going to feel the purpose of your life.
Yep.
You're not going to feel that calling on God if you're not just reading and getting to know who He is and getting a closer relationship with Him.
Yeah.
And then whenever I started getting back into the Word, it's like, okay, there's purpose on my life. I see kind of this light shining in this direction and things like that. And then you just start getting more joyful.
Yeah.
You know.
You're not worried about what everybody else is doing. Like that I think that's my big I have I set a timer for all my social media platforms for like 30 minutes a day. That way I stay off of them. And it also keeps you conscious of it's like, oh, I only got 30 minutes. I'm not going to just sit on here and scroll. And that alone will benefit you just because you're not seeing everybody's post. You're not seeing all the other things that come with that. And then comparing yourself in your life and, oh, I don't have that amount of money. I don't have that whatever. It's just any type of comparison. I don't look like that, or I don't act like that, or I'm not that good, or I'm not good enough. And it's like, that doesn't even, like, what they have going on really does not matter at all.
It doesn't matter. It won't affect your life at all.
Yeah.
But a big thing on social media now is a lot of people are quote unquote preaching or doing podcasts like we're doing, or doing little 15-second clips and posting it. And a dangerous thing to do is to just get your doctrine from social media.
Yep.
Get what you believe straight from TikTok. It's like that's not the point. Like, a good thing about social media is we can post stuff about Christ. We can post stuff about the Bible, kind of what we deal with on a daily basis. But if you are trying to get doctrine from us, you are sadly mistaken.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a good biblical foundation by just listening to somebody.
Yeah.
You have to put in the work, and you have to get into the Word and read it for yourself. Because there's a lot of people on social media who will twist the words just to get a provoking thought that's not biblical, or their doctrine is just way out there.
Way off.
They can't claim to be a Bible-believing Christian, but what they're preaching is not in the Bible. The views don't align with, Orthodox Christian views. And it's like, okay, now I have to study to see what's real. Which is what we should do anyway.
Yeah, and we should do that even in our like Sunday service. Like even though we've known, say, that pastor for that amount of time or whatever, it's like we still need to fact check them. They could be wrong. Like, they're human. They have flaws. They can easily mess up. And yeah, definitely on social media though too, because there is some crazy people out there. Like, I remember there was this one pastor I used to listen to, and now he's so far off from the truth. And I was like, dang, he was pretty entertaining. He was pretty good. And didn't fact check him though. So, I mean, I could have learned some stuff that was not right. So
if you try to get your belief system from somebody else, it's not your belief system.
It's facts.
Facts.
Like, that's good.
If I want to believe something, then I need to understand or know why I believe it. Not just, oh, well, I believe this because Michael said it. It's like, no, that's ignorance. That's not putting in the work. That's being lazy.
It's just taking my words and putting it into your words. Like, you're just copycatting.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Like, that's not going to do you any good. But another big thing on social media, or at least on my For You page, I think on your For You page, For You page too, is, gym. Yeah, we see a lot of people working out on the gym. We just came back from the gym.
The gym culture is like popping off right now.
It's popping,
like,
which is a good thing.
It is a good thing, but it can be misconstrued.
It can be. So I guess a good question to start out would be, is not working out bad?
I don't think it's bad, but I think that, you're missing out. Just because on how physically, mentally beneficial it can be, to create discipline, to create work ethic, and consistency is really the main three, I would say. Like that, just you can really benefit off of the gym, and not even the gym, just like that started with me, like when I was an athlete. Like, all right, a lot of athletes do have those characteristic traits, and it kind of flips over and turns into the gym after they're done playing sports. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's bad to not go to the gym.
My gym session is like a therapy session, man.
Yeah,
Like you get in a bad mood, you just go pump some of iron, and it's like them endorphins start kicking.
just go.
It's like this life ain't too bad.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, I wouldn't say not working out is bad. I would say not being healthy because you're too lazy to do something is bad.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I know. So I used to be bigger. You know, like I used to weigh more than I do now before I got in the gym. Like I was a youth pastor at a local church around here. Like I was just getting physically tired within 30 minutes to an hour of doing ministry. And I'm like, what is going on?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I'm getting this tired from doing, like, not hard ministry either, just doing different things.
It's not like you were just digging in a hole for 30 minutes. Like,
no, it's like I was setting up stuff, or I was, like, putting together a sermon for the youth or whatever. Like, I was just getting tired. It's like, okay, now I think that's when it becomes bad.
Mm-hmm.
When we physically limit ourselves to do ministry.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I get it. There's people who have health problems who, you know, bigger, smaller, like anorexic or whatever. And like, there's medical reasons. Like, I'm not just putting a blind blanket on, oh, if you weigh a certain amount and you're not doing anything. Yeah. Like, no. It's like, if you are healthy, man, good for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but if you're not healthy, you need to do something about it.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like we see in scripture, we see in church and all, like our body is a temple. Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't want my temple to be so cluttered with things to where it's not used for good. Mm-hmm. You know, like for the purpose of the temple.
Yeah.
So
to create a limit on what we can do.
Yeah. But another thing is gym culture, you know, kind of the view of gym culture. I follow a guy on TikTok who's trying to make a better gym culture, and he calls out people who video just to get views and all. And it's pretty funny. But, you know, gym culture in and of itself is pretty cool because, like, we're all there for the same purpose. Mm-hmm. Like, now, whether that's to get bigger, whether that's to get smaller, whether, you know, to gain muscle, to lose fat, you know, we're all there to get healthy.
Mm-hmm. But then it comes to the dangerous slope of you start to compare. Like, you will. Okay, I want to look like this guy. And it's like, I'm so far from that. It's not even funny. It's like, all right, now you're beating yourself up. And that guy may have trained for 8 years and you're in your first 6 months. And it's like, why would you even?
And, you know, you can also look like, I mean, it's pretty out in the open now, but there's some influencers like that you see in the gym, or if you look up gym routines, and like they're on gear.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, you physically cannot
get
that big.
Gear is steroids.
Steroids. But like, you can't physically get that big. Mm-hmm. So it's setting unrealistic goals, you know. It's like if you go to the gym and you want to say, okay, I want to look like Chris Bumstead. Mm-hmm. No, I don't.
Biggest Mr. Olympian,
like 4-time champion or 3-time, about to be 4, something like that.
Something crazy,
you know.
Big
but it's
dude.
like, okay, he's not on gear, but he's huge.
Yeah.
But he's also been training since he was 17, and he's like mid-30s now, I think.
Yeah.
But he's been on a routine of getting his macros in, getting his protein in, doing workouts. Like, he's put in the work.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're going to the gym for 15 minutes and not lifting, it's like you're not going to be as big as Chris Bumstead.
Yeah.
But you are getting healthier.
Yeah.
You know, so I think, like you were saying, we can set unrealistic pictures on what the pinnacle of health looks like.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, no, just, you know, if you need to shed a couple pounds, shed a couple pounds. If you need to gain a couple pounds, gain a couple pounds. I know it's easier said than done, but, you know, put in the work.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a good, maybe controversial topic about the gym.
Let's get it.
Is modesty in the gym.
Mm.
That word modesty, people don't like it now, you know, because I think a lot of churches have done a disservice to what modesty is in general. Because, like, especially at youth camps, like, if you split the guys and girls up, the girls are going to be like, or the people talking to the girls are going to be, okay, you have to dress this way so you don't make your brother stumble or this or that. And then the guys get, okay, don't look at the girls, blah. And it's like, okay, modesty is so much more than that. Modesty is how you view people, you know, or how you view yourself. Because in the gym, like, you wear a cutoff. I don't.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so who's being modest and who's not? It's not really that, but it's, okay, what is the overall goal of that? You know, like, for me, I'm still chubby, you know? So, like, I don't feel like I need to show off any of that. And also, like, if I looked in the mirror and I was shredded wearing that, like, it would be a pride thing for me.
Yeah.
You know, but you're not that way.
See, for me, it was at first like that, and now I've had a complete, like, change in heart as far as, like, wearing maybe a cutoff or something like that. Now it's like, okay, I want to see how, see what I'm looking like. I don't really care. If there was nobody in the gym, I would still wear a cutoff. I'd probably wear no shirt if nobody was in the gym. Like, it would just depending on what I'm focused on myself and focused on improving, and I'm not really worried about, oh, I'm going to stand next to this little guy and make myself look bigger. Like, it's not that deep. Like, I don't really care.
Yeah, and being modesty, you know, it's people wear things just to get a rise out of people or get attention from people. And I think that's where modesty is a big issue, is because, you know, if we're just talking about guys, you know, guys who are huge wearing stuff, and it's like they're just
extra small shirt.
Yeah, it's like they're just doing that to show other people how big they are. It's like, okay,
ego lifters.
Come on, bro. Like, get your pride in check.
Yeah, ego lifters are the same way.
Like, if you're huge, good for you. Like, I'm not saying don't be huge, but what, like, and it's all about intention. Like, what is your intention of wearing this? And that goes the same for ladies. It's like, okay, what's your intentions of wearing, you know, shorts where your butt cheeks are hanging out? Are you doing that to get views, or is it comfortable? Yeah. Like, you know, so modesty isn't as black and white as some people say. Oh, you can't wear spaghetti string shirts because it shows your shoulders and might make your brother stump. Like, no, you can't put modesty, or you can't put somebody else's quote unquote sin or whatever in your hands all the time.
Yeah.
Like, if I don't want to wear a shirt, I'm not going to wear a shirt. Like, now I don't have a 6-pack abs or anything like that.
Yeah.
But if a girl looks and it's like, oh, that dude's like, okay. Like, it's not my fault.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, if it's becoming a problem, like I'm starting to get attention from it, it's like, okay, let me put a shirt on.
I feel like if you know, then okay, that's a clear indicator.
It's like if you know you're bad and you're doing it just for people to look like, come on, man. You know,
you know what you're doing.
Yeah, you know what you're doing. So I guess that just goes straight into comparison, because if we look at social media and gym, those are two big comparison.
What?
That's not a word.
Say again?
That's not a word. You know, that's two big spots where people compare themselves, because social media, it's the highlight reel. And in the gym, it's like, okay, I want to look like that.
Yeah. It's almost like an unobtainable goal
Yes.
at some point. It's like, okay, that dude's way far ahead of me, so I can't look like him tomorrow.
Yeah.
So there's no way, there's no reason why I should compare.
Yeah. And we compare in every aspect of life,
Mhm.
you know. And it's like I used to compare myself to our pastor. And it's like, dude, I'm 26 years old.
Yeah.
And he's older, you know. Like
Been doing it for
been
25
doing
years.
it for as long as I've been
Yeah,
alive.
exactly.
And I'm over here trying to compare myself to him. And it's like, no, I got to put in the work. So
Mhm.
when I'm 25 years into the ministry, I can be close to this. It's just the same as in the gym and in social media. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, I can see that person and be thankful for that person and the work they've put in. But I'm not going to say I have to be like that right now, right this second.
Mhm.
Because that just starts throwing you off track, like
Yeah.
throwing your whole mind and body off track.
But also with comparison, it can in slim situations, I think it can be beneficial because sometimes I'll look at it like, okay, that dude is so far ahead of me and so much bigger than me or whatever, or he's got so much more money than me or whatever. And I'll be like, okay, I'll use that as fuel necessarily,
Yeah.
not to in a negative way. I'll like, okay, I need to get my stuff situated. I need to get rolling. I need to start that. I need to start eating right. I need to start somewhere really. And I think that's one of the probably the only positive thing out of comparison.
Yeah, I mean, when you do a good comparison, I guess would be a decent wording for it. It's like, okay, they're doing better than I am.
Mm-hmm. So change.
How can I get better?
Yeah.
How can I get on a level that is somewhat like them?
Yeah.
You know, and it's not, oh me, oh my. It's okay, I see what they're doing and it's working and I want to be on that level.
Yeah.
So what can I do?
Exactly.
You know. So it's a good and bad comparison. You know, just on what your intent is, what your intentions.
About to say, really, this podcast is just going to be labeled intention.
Yeah. It's like, what is your mindset?
Because it's all gone back to what is your intent and what is your intention with it.
Well, that's what leads a lot of what sin is, you know, is what is the intention.
Yep.
You know, and it's like if you can get your mindset and if you can get the intentions right, then you will stop sinning more.
Yeah.
You know, I
That's a good
think that might be all we got on it, man.
Be out.
You know, just be careful of what you're doing on social media and in the gym and life. Are you doing it to further the gospel and live a godly life, or are you doing it for the glory of God? Well, that's it. We will see you again Monday at the Fourth Man Podcast. Deuces.